Belt Mike's Way, and I'm Mike. We're gonna get into getting this thing cut today. We need to scrape off some of this tar and all the bed liner that's all on the inside. They went a little crazy with it. It was really thick in the factory from some places where you can see that these extra texture, but they use a lot of the bed liner to hide some of their bad body work. So we're just gonna go through, scrape off the big parts for right now until we identify the areas where we are gonna have to weld. Scrape off some of these Bondo bits from the holes. Yeah, ain't nothing to it but to get to it. Alright guys, welcome back. We're starting to get some measurements together for the rear end, and I want to see how low the car is going to be able to sit, because I plan on this thing sitting really close to the ground. So after a few measurements, it's not going to be very low at all. It's probably going to be about 9 to 12 inches off the ground. So I'm not going to have that, and it's not going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise the rear well up 3 inches, which is going to give us more ride height and lower to go. So that's going to put us more into the 6-inch to 9-inch range, and depending on how tall of a tire I want to run, I can even bring it down probably to the 6 or 5-inch range with a 26-inch tall tire. I might run a little taller with a 29 or a slick or something, but so just keep that in mind, what tire you're going to run, how tall it's going to be, etc. I'm going to show you a couple of lines I've laid out, but so far this is what I have. We're taking 3 inches of it out. I'm going to leave a 1/2 inch around so I can use Klinkos and basically get it together and see how nice it looks before we start making it permanent. So this is going to be completely removed because this is where it's bad, so I might as well make the cut happen where I need it to. This is going to be a cut in afterwards. This is going to be our cut line where the X's are. We're leaving this 1/2 inch so we can drill 1/8 inch holes, and then we can Klinko it together. But as this comes up, we'll know where to cut for this. We're going to cut straight up here. This more than likely will overlap when we bring it up. Also, with that being done, I have already laid out the first cut line. We're going to be removing 3 inches out of here. Again, we're going to remove some bad material. Still got some touch up to do on that guy, but I've got it pretty much laid out. So do your cut, kind of move it around, cut slow, do the math, take your time. I just wanted to show you guys what I had going on. I'm gonna get the wood crate out and spin this thing around and maybe get the cut in a day. I want to show you a quick technique, the way that I like to cut sheet metal. I like to make all those slices so then you can come back and you can just barely dip in the grinder and just connect that, versus if you stuff it all the way in here and you grind all the way around this, you're going to be adding all that heat from the grinding wheel the whole time. So basically I just do punctures like a skip, little dotted line, and then like I said, I connect two, and then
start where you've already ended and go up to the next one. Jump around, jump around, jump around. Very important so you don't turn this thing into a tin can. Just some advice. I hope you guys are enjoying it. You can see we're just about cut loose. We do have some stuff on the inside holding it. So that's why I'm just gonna go ahead and finish cutting the outside for right now. All right, as you can see, we are all loose. And this side stayed pretty close for the most part, but you can tell it definitely moved around. So this side is where most of the damage was, and you can see how bad the sheet metal is distorted when we cut it loose. It's not gonna be that big of a deal because these have so much strength in them. When we move it up, we're just gonna pin them right into these, and then we'll cut a little bit of this back. Should look really nice and sharp. Should be nice and easy. Just a little bit of trimming here and there, and I think we're gonna get through it really nice and easy. Pin it back together. This belt line has a lot of strength to it. It barely even moved. I was kind of a little worried, but as you can see, you look down at that belt line, and it's perfect. So pretty much a success there. I'm gonna take a quick break and we're gonna get back to getting this removed. All right, as you see, we have 1, 2, 3 ratchet straps that are loosely placed. So when I cut these last little brackets, it actually have a little room to come down and hopefully not pinch my cutoff wheel and make it break or make it frail and make it explode in my face or anything. I put a jack down there with the center block on it. It's pretty balanced, so that'll just help it if it swings or anything when I cut it loose. But everything's going pretty great. We're gonna knock some the brackets off, and then we're gonna start working on moving it up to where it's gonna be in its new home. I don't plan on it staying long like this. I want to get this job done, and I want to get it over with. This is going to be an extensive sheet metal job, and I want to get through it. So here we go. Okay, here we go. We're gonna grind this, excuse me. If you guys don't have one of these, get one. They're awesome. Perfect for sheet metal. So is that grinder because they bog down or they cut out when you bog on them too hard, which I think is great for sheet metal because it keeps you from overheating the metal. Anyways, we're gonna grind this edge from the inside. It's just much easier to get to. We're gonna smooth it up and kind of wipe away any of this overhang from the grinder, and also get rid of the little bit of the
Here I am just letting the rear slide up and overlap. Once we get up to our measured areas, we'll go ahead and put Klinkos in them. We'll set both sides so they're even, and we'll keep working on it from there. Welcome back. The Klinko Madness is about to start. I just got a few in it just to keep the back nice and straight and level, and then we're gonna start working our way around this corner. We're gonna be pushing it tight as we go, and just to see how far that it moves the wheel well back, because we know when we came up, the the back was actually tilted. So as we came up, the wheel well is actually moved away. from the front. So probably not that much, might be a 1/4 inch. Probably not going to be a big deal. If we have to, we'll do some adjusting. We'll see how it goes. Here we go. With each Klinko, the structure is getting closer and closer into place. This is one of my favorite parts, really seeing it take shape. Here we are cutting that section that we needed to cut later to make sure we got that curve correct. And then it's going to repeat and do the other side. Right here, I'm notching the rear pinch weld because I'm not running the rear skirt on this car.
All right, here we go. After probably about 70 Klinkos, if you guys are going to do sheet metal work, you really need to get these. This is going to help you out a lot holding stuff, especially if you're a one-person show like I am, or just don't have people in your area that often that have the spare time. But this is really going to change your life. It did for me. These are originally from manufacturing and airplanes. But I definitely suggest you get some if you're going to be chopping tops and cutting stuff up like I do. They're just you just have to have them, and it helps align everything so it's nice and smooth. So when you start cutting the seam, welding, you can just it's already in place. So it's gonna just help a lot. We're gonna get right to mocking up the rear end and checking out the frame rails and see how our distance lines up. Alright guys, exciting stuff. We got the axle under the car, we went ahead, rear end under the car, we went and slid in one of our axles, just sitting in there roughly. We're going to do a rough measurement so we can order those wheels. You guys don't know what they are yet, but let me tell you, they are freaking sweet. They really pay tribute to the old hot rods. They're special order, so make sure you do your math, make sure you do it right, and you'll be happy with the results. But don't order them ahead of time. Wait till you get your car set up right, or have a car that you can measure off of. Mine happens to be tubbed. Not a lot of 34s that are around gonna have a 34 or have a tub just like I'm gonna do mine. So I took the time to wait to make sure I got this right. So measuring our offset, we have about 6 inches. So I'm gonna leave about 1.5 inches in between the tire for it to move when you go around corners and the body to shift. So minus 1.5 inches off 6 inches, we have a 4.5 inch offset wheel. I'm going to order mine right around 3.5 to 4. Just to give myself a little extra clearance, and mine are gonna be nice and wide. So it's gonna look really good, give us some extra room, especially if we put a drag radial on here. If that thing goes to expand under burnouts, you wanna have some extra room. So keep that in mind. We have a 26-inch tall tire that we're gonna be putting on it. So if you cut that in half to the center of your axle, this is how tall our tire is gonna come up. So we have a nice 3 to 4 inch gap for a suspension ride. After that, if you go the opposite way, if you measure from the ground to the center of your axle, we have 21 inches. So we know everything in between 13 and 21 is false space. So we're gonna minus 8 inches out from under the chassis. When you measure 8 inches out from under your chassis, which we set at 13, so now we're gonna have a 5-inch ride height to our chassis. That's where your frame's gonna set at to the ground. You're gonna be 5 inches off the ground. And I think that is gonna make this car look really badass. Hope you guys enjoy it. This is it for this one. Stick around, we have a lot more work to do, a lot more sheet metal work, lots of welding and grinding to do. Have a great day.